since it's otherwise giving me problems. All right, the second part is asking you to find the inverse function of g of x, right? So again, I'm going to write back g of x is equal to 3x plus 2, right? Now, inverse function. This is how you solve it, right? I said before that g of x is on the y-axis and x is on the x-axis. They're both variables. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make g of x is equal to y, right? G of x is equal to y. And we're going to interchange x and y. So we're going to put x where y is, and we're going to put y where x is. We're going to interchange them. Now, in essence, this is what it means to inverse the function. We're interchanging x and y. We're changing the positions of x and y and putting them where each other was, right? We're putting x where y was, and we're putting y where x was. This is the inverse of the function. But since g of x is equal to y, we don't have what the inverse function of g of x is, because y is not by itself. We need to put y by itself to show what the inverse function of g of x is. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make y the subject of the formula by putting y by itself. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to isolate 3y. Now, 3y is going to be equal to x, not c, x minus 2. All right, we're going to isolate 3y, and that's x is going to be 3y equal x minus 2. And you can show that by just subtracting 2 from both sides of the equation. Right? 2 minus 2 cancel each other. You're left with 3y is equal to x minus 2. Right? Now, to get y by itself, you're just going to divide both sides by 3. And put this in bracket, x minus 2 divided by 3. All right? And this is it. This is the inverse function of g of x. Now, all you need to do is write this in the appropriate format. So you're just going to show that the inverse function of g of x is equal to what y is, which is x minus 2 over 3. And that's it. And they didn't ask you to find like inverse function of g of minus 6, right? Which in that case you would write inverse function of g minus 6, and then you would plug in minus 6 into x, or anywhere you see x you plug in minus 6 and then solve the equation for that, right? But they didn't ask you for that. They just asked you to find the inverse function of g of x. So again, you could just leave it like that, and that